All right, well, good morning and welcome back to Exit 45. It's the first time we get to put something on the car. So front suspension's going in. Let's not wait any longer. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Let's get it done. So, getting ready to start filling in this area with parts, and my unfamiliarity with this car is starting to show. Let me show you what I got. So, got the bushing that goes on here. Your lower control arm goes in here. But here's where my unfamiliarity comes with. This part clean, painted, and ready to go. Couldn't figure out why was this not fit. Well, because this bushing right here is still in there. The rubber part came out, but not this metal sleeve. So I got to get this out and hopefully not tear this up in the process of doing that. So that's first step. I got to get this ready for this, and then I will start putting all the parts on and getting this all set. All right guys, so first things first, I want to get this bushing sleeve out of here, and I think the best way to do that is going to be to use my body saw and just come in here and just cut up to each side there and just see if I can't get this to be able to collapse in a little bit and then come out easily. So I think that's going to be the first thing to try and do. So let's see if we can get that. Well, it's going through, so just trying to take it nice and slow. I don't want to cut into anything I don't want to cut, so. All right, so we're getting there. I got both sides cut through. It's the middle. All right, guys, so I've made a series of cuts. First one you saw me made, I made it cut coming down this way on both sides. Then I cut the middle out. And then I finished the cuts on both sides all the way through. And it looks like it may have given me some relief. So now I'm going to see if I can't tap them out. Look at that. All right, got one. And no harm done so far. Little nicks, but everything's coming out pretty good, so I'm happy about that. I missed it. I just don't know these cars well enough. That's all right. It all comes out in the end and works out. So. That. And there's number 2. Okay, so I'm going to clean up these areas real quick, just get them with some sandpaper and treat them, and we'll put this back in. All right, so as always, aftermarket parts, there's always issues. So if you look at this one, you can see I'm hitting on this part right here. All right, well, I'm gonna get that done, and then when I get that done, I'll come back and we'll get this on, okay? Let me get it done. Okay, guys, so you can see, let me show you here. So I cut that along there so I could clearance it, and perfect. And then what I did was I used the bolts and nuts to draw this in and get it nice and tight. So all I got to do now is just take nuts off and put the lock washers on, retighten that down, and then this is set. And then I'm gonna check this out real quick just to see. I don't know, but anyways, just wanted to kind of get you up to date. That's where I'm at. I got all this here pretty much done. I just need to retighten it with the lock washers on. All right, guys. Before I press on here, I just wanted to show you I got the bracket that it's in question here on here. But then if you look at it from this angle, you can see it doesn't, I mean, it just doesn't fit at all. You're never going to be able to bolt it down. This must go to a different year model. I just checked the manual and I don't see anything about this. It's not in any of the diagrams. So it wasn't on the car originally, so goodbye. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up and then we'll press on. All right, so as you can see, we got all bolted in. Everything looks good. And let's go ahead and get this thing on the car. Yep, let's get it on the car. All right, so getting ready to put this on. One of the things you have to be aware of is this bolt here goes in before you put it on the car, and I'll show you why. Let me get this in and then I'll show you. All right, so if you look, you'd never be able to get this bolt in here because of the structure of the car. So you have to put these two things together first. You can slide it in. We'll put the nut and the washer on the other side to hold it there. Then we can start tightening some of this stuff up. But make sure you put this bracket on first and then slide it into the car, because if you don't, you'll be just taking it back off. So just a heads up. All right, so we got it hanging barely. I got to get this on here on the other side to hold it. All right, I got that. And then I just realized I don't have my shims in there. So back out it comes. And ultimately, I have no idea whether these will be the shims that are, ultimately the ones used or not. But you can see the shims go on between the body and this. And then they actually go like this. And then if you look, there's another bolt that goes through here that holds the shims in place. So let me get this back in here. There we go. And that was fun. Let me try this again. All right, try it again. There we go. All right, now I got the bolt through to hold the shims in place. And I got the main bolt in to hold the arm in place. And it just needs to be tightened up. All right. So that's the next step. We'll get this thing tightened up. All right. All right, so, all right. All right, so we got 3 bolts to tighten. So we have the one that holds the arm to the bracket that runs through here. Then we have the main bolt that runs this way through the bracket and the body. And then you also have your small bolt down here that's holding the shims in place. Okay, so I'm on the back side of all of that right now. You can see the arm out here. And I just wanted to get you in and show you the bolts and the nuts from the other side. So, all right, so I tightened up the bolt running through here, holding this to the bracket, but I only snugged up the bracket to the car because I need to have a little bit of movement in this. So when I go to put my strut in place, I can move it around a little bit, and then once these 2 are in, we can tighten everything up. All right, so I got a new kit for this. Got new rubber. I mean, it came with some new cups, but the cups I have are fine, and they're all painted up, so I'm going to reuse them. Anyway, so essentially, these 2 here sandwich around the body. So you can see right here, you got that. That's going to go through like that. And then this piece will come from the other side like that. And then this will go right through all of that. That goes in there. And this goes like that. And then you got a bracket here. I don't know if you guys are able to see, so you can see here how this is going on like that. And then this bracket will go up underneath. There they are. Okay. And then I can put these on. Put the nut and lock washer on. All right. So we're starting to take some shape here. All right. So we got our strut in, our lower control arm in. They're just loose. And on the strut end, I need to get the other cup. The metal sleeve needs to go in before all that, and then I can put all that on. And then you got your castellated nut and new cotter key. So all that's got to go in on the other side of this. I'll get you up underneath here. I'll show you. It'll be easier. Okay, so you can see the rod right here, and then you can see the other side. So it's yeah, it's going to be challenging. To be honest with you, I'm going to have to figure this out. I don't remember how that came out. So, all right. So I got the bushing that goes on the other side of the frame on this on the rod here. Okay, and I just used some silicone lubricant, gross, to make it a little bit easier to slide that in there, and then I'll have to slide this from the other side and into the other bushing that's on the other side of that bracket. So that's probably not going to be fun, but hopefully not too bad. Okay, guys, so I got it to compress enough and get it on that sleeve in there. I just used this. I put it up on here, and then I ran it down to bring the 2 rubber bushings together and slide them both over that metal sleeve. It wasn't easy. I had to really work to get it at least where I could start the nut, so it took a lot of pressing with my hands and squeezing and jiggling and getting it to move just enough to get it started. But there it is. So now all I have to do is put the this metal cap on, put it on this side, and then tighten down with this, and then we should be able to tighten down this whole system here, and I think we'll be where we need to be. All right. All right. So I'm tightening down that castellated nut, and just thought I'd bring you in real quick and say it's going to take a long time. It's like one flat on the wrench at a time. Not even a flat. I'm having to use the box end. So I'm just getting a little turn at a time because there's absolutely no room up in here. All right, guys, let me get you in here and show you what we got going. All right, I got this tight. The cotter key's in, but you can see I have no room. I can't get to the other side of them to bend them over. So what I've had to do, let's go to this end, and I had to take all of this apart again. And then what I'm going to have to do is spin, try to get on a hold of this and rotate it until I can get to the cotter pins on the other side in here, bend them, and then spin it back. Yeah, I know. But I do remember having to do that to take it out. Yeah. All right, let me just get it done. Okay. As you can see, I've got the cotter key bent and in place. And then I'm going to use my rotational tool here. And we're going to, well, figure this out. How did I do it? There we go. Well, I'm 180 degrees out. All right, we're getting there. Almost there. And there you go. That is how you have to put that cotter key in. And you just need a handy dandy screwdriver to rotate this either way. All right. It is installed for the final time. All right. So you can see I've got the upper control arm ball joint in. And as you can probably see, we're beat up a little bit because it fought me. I really struggled to get this one to go in nice and straight. It kept wanting to turn and go crooked on me a little bit, and boy, it was a fight, but I got it. Anyway, so I got that. So now it's time to get the arm through here. On Vintage Thunderbird, or My Vintage Thunderbird Repair, Nick over there, he talks about these. There's an O-ring in here. And the need to get it notched, because if you don't, it creates a tight seal around this, and then when you go to put grease in there, it vapor locks, or air locks rather, and you can't get any grease in. So if you give it a place over here, you notch this a little bit, and you give air a place to go out, you can fill that with grease. So the O-ring is just doing too good a job. All right, guys. So you can see my cat. Come on, Pep. Stop it. Crazy cat. All right, so you can see right here, right there, and right there. I put 2 notches in it, and that should be enough to allow air to come through. And crazy cat. Anyway, I'm going to get the other one notched. I just wanted to show that to you before we go putting anything together, all right? Yes, yes, yes. Everybody loves you too. Yes. You're the star of the show. They know it. All right, let me get this done. I don't know what happened. Camera just shut off. These electronic devices, they got a mind of their own sometimes. Anyway. All right, so far it's tightening up good. And we're staying loose here, so And then once I get this in all the way, we'll worry about turning this until we get it centered in there. All right, so let me show you here. I've got it centered in there. I haven't been able to grease them because I can't find my grease gun, so I must have it over at my dad's. So I'm gonna have to grab that and I'll grease that, but I can grease it when it's in the car. So let's go ahead and press on and get this in the car. All right. Okay. Back under the car, and let's put this upper control arm on. All right. So we'll just. As you can see, the grease fitting here, I can get to it, but it'll be tight. But this side, it's tight up in there. Not going to get to that one. So I can install this, but before I permanently install it, it's going to have to come back off, get that one greased. For now, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up on there so I can do some test fitting. I've got these coilovers I'm going to be putting in here. And when I say there's nothing out there on putting coilovers on these, there's nothing out there. And the only place I could get them from was Aldan American. And so far, I mean, it looks like a really good product. There's a couple of issues. I'll go over them here in a minute. When I get this done, I'll go over, where the problems are with the coilovers. All right, so let me walk you through basically how this shock setup's going to go on here. So this is my coilover, my spring. There we go, and there you go. That's going to slide up in there just like the big spring does, except for it's not as big and hopefully a lot easier to get in. And then you have this bracket, which bolts just like the shocks bolted down to the A-arm here. But here's where my problem is with this kit so far. It's I think really the only problem, but it's a big one. This is where this is supposed to go to. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's not working. So I don't know what the deal is with this. Here, if these are needing to come off, and if they are, that doesn't make any sense because I still need this bushing in here because that's the size of the bolt. So I can't imagine these need to come off, but it's too wide. I can't get it on there. This is their setup. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm a little bit at loss. I kind of wish I would have checked on this, kind of gone through this a little bit more before I'm sitting here ready to put it all together. But such is how it goes sometimes, right? Yeah, I know. Anyway, so I have a couple of choices. I can wait for them and get them on the phone and find out what's going on, or I can cut these off, these two off here, move them over enough either way to get it in there. I don't like that idea. I don't know that I would have enough distance here for the bolt to move these outward. I think I run out of room with these bolts. So there's got to be something I don't know about. The directions that come with this are very vague. They're designed for any vehicle you're going to put these on. Not a lot I can do about it right now. It doesn't make any sense to, do any part of the installation on this until bam, just hit the car until I get an understanding of where we're at with this. Been a good company to work for so far. I mean, every time I've called, they've answered. I've talked to them. I tried today, but it's Saturday, so that didn't really help. They weren't there. So I will get a hold of them. We'll figure this out, and then we'll put these on. So, but I just wanted to kind of show you where the issue was. Not working. But there's some nice things with this kit. A lot of reinforcements. It's a good, strong kit. Comes with some thrust bearings here so that the well, here, let me show you. So the way these work, if you're not familiar with them, you can adjust these. I can turn this up or down to adjust my ride height to get it where I want it. Well, these thrust bearings will go right on this surface, so that when you are spinning this, it makes it a lot easier with those. They're lubed, and that allows this to spin a whole lot easier instead of being friction from this straight to the spring. So that's a nice feature. They're also adjustable as far as, you can soften or stiffen up your ride. Yeah. So, I mean, this is they're not a bad setup. Again, if you're a Thunderbird person, this is the only place I found them that have a kit for these cars. So, let me get through this. Let me get through this with them, and I will, make sure you guys know. So if anybody is interested in getting something like this for theirs, you'll have the answer here. You'll know whether this is going to work or if it was a big fail. All right. All right. Let me press on. We're not done yet. All right, guys. So I'm not one to give up. All right. So I went and dug out the old shocks and everything from when I tore this car apart. I've kept everything. It's in a pile outside, but I kept it. And I found the original shock mount. And it's tight, but it should go on. Clean it up, of course. Maybe grind a little bit just to clean this up, just very lightly. But I mean, it's just a tight fit. It looks like it'll go, a little persuasion. Or just like I said, a light grind just to clean it up. I don't know. I don't know why we couldn't just go on with the original and just put this in it. I really wish I knew why they're new ones. I mean, I like it because it's a lot stouter. I mean, that's heavy duty right there. So I think if I clean this up, this is going to work. And then I don't have to worry about the new bracket that came with it. What are you going to do? Let's clean this up, see what it does. Okay, guys. So I've done the work. I sandblasted, I painted the old bracket that came on the car. And look at that. That is a beautiful fit. And I don't see any reason why I can't use it. So got the new hardware in it. Everything works great. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. Looks really good. You got theirs. And then you got the other one. I don't know. I'm okay with it. And because this is never going to work. So I just... So I got both sides done, so I think I'm kind of ready to press on with this. So, okay. So, let me show you. I got, everything is in, greased. I've got both of them greased. Greased. So, we're ready to go in with the coilover shocks. So this should be interesting. So let me walk you through the process of getting those in there. I think it's going to be tight, but we'll figure it out. All right, so here we go. All right, so you got your shock and your adjustment rings here, or platform, or whatever they call it, I don't know, all the way down to give me as much room on between here and here with the coil. All right, and then we take the coil, and we'll slide that on down over there. The small end goes down to the bottom and sits on that platform. And then on this car, it came with a backing plate that sits up in where your old spring used to go, and it's just a reinforcement backing plate. Then that goes on there, and then this whole thing goes up in there, and then we put our top rubber on just like you would any other shock. So let's go ahead and get it in. Let's get it. Got that. Okay, so we've got that in, so I'm gonna get you in here a little bit better. Okay, so you can see we're in up there. We are still not in here. We'll work on that here in a minute. And then we go to the top and we're in here. So all that's solid. And now we got to deal with getting this into those holes, just like you would your regular shock. But this is not a regular shock. I've got to deal with this spring. Looks like it's close, but it is not. It is not there. So we may have to fight this a little bit. All right, let's get fighting. Okay, so let's start this fight by just seeing if I can't get in here and clear some stuff out of my way first. So see if I can't get in here with my hands and just see if I can't get this to go in. Down all the way. Yeah, no, that's pretty, no. All right, so strike number one. Just seems like one thing after another, right? You know, going together was supposed to be easy. I had everything clean, painted, and like new, and I'm not really sure that this is a proven out system, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've not heard of anybody. I've never seen a video. I've never seen anything where somebody put coilovers in the front of their Thunderbird. So round two is I've got to figure out a way to put enough pressure. Okay, so we're gonna see if we can't use a little bit of leverage just underneath here. Try to. Okay. Oh, it's almost in. Almost. Come on. You know what? I think there's another way to do this. Let me just take this bracket off of here, put it in by itself, because really it's the length of these bolts that's giving me a trouble. I have to compress it more than I would have to. So, all right, so I got the main bolt out. You guys get in here a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. You can see here the bracket. I'm going to just put the bracket in like that. I sure made that a lot harder than it should have been. Hey, but I figured it out pretty quick this time, right? All right. No laughing. It's not funny. Don't laugh at the guy on the TV screen. All right. Come on. Wow, come on. Really? This should be the easy way. Come on. Problem is, this bracket only hits on the shock, and it only allows the shock to, it'll never travel as far as it is right now. That's pretty low, but essentially it's a stop there. And that could be, a deal with this. The original bracket they sent with it, clearly it doesn't work because it's not fat enough there, but it doesn't have, a piece of metal right here that shock is, when it's not allowing this to turn. I'm hitting that. And that's what's causing my problem right now. This is the shock mount that I have on there right now. It's the one that originally came with the car. So I know what's happening is the shock is hitting right there. So this sits in the car like this, and right now, because of the angle that it sits at, the shock is hitting on that. And I may have to cut just maybe 1/8 off of this surface right here. Just bring that down just enough so that shock has a little bit more room to rotate. You can see the marks here where I'm hitting constantly on that shock. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit and relieve a little bit of that. And that should take care of our problem. All right, guys. So yeah, it was the right move to install the bracket into the A-arm first and then bring this back to that versus trying to get them all in together as a unit. That's what the directions say to do, is to put this together and then put it into the A-arm after you've got it hanging. But that's not going to work with this one. I put that in here. I'll put that in here first and do that. But then what I did is, of course, I found out that the bracket here, this part here, I had to cut down because, it was up about 1/8 of an inch higher. You can probably see the cut marks because it wasn't allowing this to articulate enough, and it was hitting on the shock for me to be able to get the bolt in. So now I've modified this. I'm going to start back to where I were from scratch here, and we're going to start putting this thing in again for the third time. I think third time, not sure. We're going to get bracket in the A-arm, and we can bring this up, and there it goes. Ha! Yep. Once again, aftermarket comes back to haunt you. But that's all you got, right? Anyway, there it is. All right, so we have our coilover shock is now installed. So now the fun part's going to be getting my spindle in here. But before I do that, I need to go ahead and tighten up the bottom end here, get these torqued 35 inch-pounds, and then I can run down this top. Now I can't fully adjust and do anything to this. I'm just going to tighten it up. But to actually adjust these spanner nuts. That won't happen until this thing is sitting with the engine in it on its own weight. Basically, it'll be one of the last things I do, is adjust this for my ride height. So for now, it'll be installed. It just won't be adjusted. All right, so I'm going to get everything tightened up, and then when we come back, we're going to deal with the getting the spindle in and, you know, the hub and all those things. So, all right, before I move on, everything's tight. I just wanted to give you guys a kind of an overall view of what it looks like so far in there. I like it. Looks really good. All right, so I've got updates on the shock mounting dilemma. So if you remember, the problem we were having was the mount system that comes with the shocks, or came with the shocks, doesn't fit the shock. Fits the car, doesn't fit the shock. The other thing I had some concerns with, and I never really brought that up because I just wasn't really sure about it, but was the top side, that the rubber bushings that go on are small. Not much bigger than the hole that it's, you know, supposed to be, you know, holding against going through. And so I called Aldan American yesterday. You know, I can't say enough about a company. When you call them, they answer their phones and they help you. They get back with you when they say they're going to. This is a good company. I know they don't get the same press and all those things, you know, whatever, as QA1, but they have a good product. Everything I see, it's really no different than the QA1. They have basically all the same stuff. But what they did was they asked me to send them some pictures. I did, and then we talked again, and basically it goes like this. They sent me the wrong hardware on my shocks. So the mounting system on the top and the bottom are incorrect for a Ford. They sent me the one for GM. So that was on them. They are correcting that right now. They're going to be sending out me all new mounting. So the bracket that was in question was not the problem. It was the mounting system on the shock. Let me show you. Okay, so remember this. We talked about this and how this doesn't fit. Okay, well, that's because this system is incorrect. This whole bushing system. So they're sending me. There's supposed to be a bearing that goes inside of this clevis, not bushings, and that's where the problem is. So he said, just press this out, and then when the bearing comes in, we'll pop that in. But now, on this side, see how small these are? Let me show you on the car. So if you look here, you can see the hole in this. They're super close to the same size. There's not a lot of difference in size. So you can see there. You know, just that's way too small. So I brought that up to them as well, and they said the same thing, that this is a GM style system that was put on the shocks, and the shocks needed to be built up for the Ford, and they weren't. So they're sending me all new rubber bushings for the top side, and they're sending me the bearings that go down here. So should be a very easy swap out. Shouldn't take me more than about an hour to swap these out and have them in. I'll show you when I get it all done, all right? I just wanted to set the record straight as to what happened with these. And I did ask them about using the bracket that came, you know, on the car originally, and they said that that was not acceptable, that this was not strong enough. And so, so that we needed to use their system. And that's fine. That was a concern that I had, was, is this strong enough? And that's the main reason why I called them, was to make sure, is this going to be strong enough? If it is, I don't have a problem using it. But they said no, it was not going to be strong enough. So there you have it. That's what's going on. And kudos to Aldan American for making this right. Okay. You don't find this too often in companies, but when you do, boy, you really want to support them. And I will, I've got, when I do my C10, I'm going to need a whole set of these, front and back. You can bet I'm going to be getting them from Aldan American. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to insert this into the video and give you the update. And I will give you the update and just show you real quick once they're all done on another video. All right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and install the spindle now. And let's see if we can't get something to go on this thing relatively easy. It's not been that way yet. Lots of on and off. All right. So as you remember, this is a spindle from a 1965 Thunderbird, because I wanted to convert to disc brakes. So again, everything I'm told, chat rooms and everybody I've talked to said, yes, you can do this. So I'm taking a big jump. I bought all the parts. I bought this. I had to pay some pretty good money to get this off a guy in Atlanta who's got a bunch of Thunderbirds. But I got it. So let's see what we got. Well, how about that? That didn't go too bad. I'm not really doing this completely blind. I did measure this and compare it to the one that came out. And your steering arm over here matches up with the other one. So the steering geometry is not going to be affected. This was the same. The only difference was, instead of having, a different area right here for bolting on your drum brakes, you've got a triangle area which is for your splash shield, and then you have your two mounting areas for your brake caliper. So that's really the only differences between them. Otherwise, they are the same. So let's get a nuts on these. I'll probably have to jack up the bottom here to get this up, because it's not sticking through. So I'm sure I'll have to put a little pressure on that. So, but that's all right. Come on. There we go. All right, that's snug. I'm not going to tighten it just yet. Okay, so I'm going to have to get a jack. I'm going to get this jacked up enough so I can get the nut started under here, and we'll draw that up. And then we should have this situated. All right. All right, there's one. There we go. Just like that, we're in. I think we are at a point where I can give you another good shot of this thing, but she's starting to look good, coming together. Whew, I like it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and, well, we're not gonna do that. All right, here we go. Let's get this race in. And it's seated. All right. All right. There you go. One new bearing race ready to go. Okay. Now we've got the other side. So let me get that out and get that one on. All right. Let's get this one in. There we go. And that one's seated. All right. Okay. And now both bearings are seated in there. Bearing races, rather. Okay, we got our bearings, so those will have to be packed. And we can get this one in. And then we can get our seal in there, and then we can put this on. So we're almost ready to put this on and start to see a finished product. Hey, Pep, what are you trying to tell me? What? Am I missing something? Did I do something out of step? What? I don't know. I can't understand you. Yeah, I know what you want. You want to go in and get something to eat. I know. Okay. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to take a small break and take a spoiled cat in the house. Yes, I called you a spoiled cat. All right, guys, let me get that done, and then we'll get back out here and get this hub on. Okay, so you can see here, got the splash shield on, and I'm ready to start getting this hub set in there. So, last thing we did was when we got the bearing races in, so that's done. So next thing is I got to get my bearings packed, set in here so I can slide this on. Let's start with getting some grease inside the hub. All right. And then we're going to work on packing. All right, and we're just going to work the grease into our bearings. You've probably seen this 100 times, but my hands are a mess and I can't stop the camera, so you get to watch. I'd say they're packed. All right, so now we need to get our seal on there. All right, then I'm going to take my seal and we're going to tap that on there. With the seal driver. Just like that. All right, let's get the other bearing packed. I'm going to get this one packed real quick. We are almost done, guys. We are almost done. All right, let's get this in. And we're going to put our keyed washer on as soon as I figure out where the key's at. There it is. And then our nut goes on. Something doesn't seem right. Well, guys, once again, my unfamiliarity got me. I assumed that the rotor slid over the bolts. Most of the cars I've worked on, that's how it works. That, you press the bolts into your hub. That's where they're at. The rotor then slips on top of that. Makes it a lot easier to change your rotor when it comes time, but that's not how this one works. I thought it looked awful funny sitting in here and had this big empty space back here. Well, that's why this is supposed to be like this. So, back on we go. I got it all swapped around. There we go. And that looks a lot better. There we go. All right, let me get the bearing back in. There we go. And then the keyed washer. And then the nut. Again. All right, so I'm going to have to pull this all back off. This is really just for the video, I guess, at this point. These studs aren't holding. I guess they got pressed once. They're not going to be pressed again. So I'm going to have to get some new studs again and get the whole thing pressed on. Not happening right now. So either way, we got it. I'm not going to go any further with this. Again, it looks great, and I'm super happy with how it's coming out. My mistake on this, again, I'm not familiar with these. I started putting this thing together just like I would any other car, with the rotor sliding onto your studs, and then your wheel and everything goes on, your caliper goes on, your caliper holds on your, you know. That's not how this one works. So a lot more maintenance this way, I'll tell you. You want to replace these, you got to pull the whole hub, you got to unpress your studs, you got to get new studs. That's a lot of work. All right. So there we go. Looks good. It's all in. Yeah, I like it. Okay. Yep. All good. All right, guys, that's it. We're going to wrap up this video. It's been a long time coming. I've been waiting to get past the paint and start putting the very first things on this car, and we did it. So appreciate y'all coming and watching. This has been a lot of fun. We pretty much got the front suspension on. I'll make those quick adjustments when the parts come in from Aldan American. But until then, we're going to move on, and we're going to jump onto the steering gearbox and the steering linkage. That may be in 2 videos, depending on how long it takes for each one of them. But we'll play that out as it goes. All right. So thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Share, like, subscribe, all those things. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from my family to yours. All right. I can't say enough how much I appreciate you guys coming and watching. And I wish you guys the very best this holiday season. We will not be doing a video between Christmas and New Year's. I'm going to take that off, have some time with family, and I encourage you guys to do the same. Love your family, hug your family, let them know how much you care about them during this holiday season and all year, because you don't always have them with you, okay? Thanks again. I'll see you on the next video in the new year. All right? Bye.